Hi everyone, my name is Shauna, in case you know. Welcome back to another video. Before I get any further in this video, I need to address two things really quickly that are bugging me so much. First of all, I recently found out that I have lopsided shoulders and I can't unsee it. So I've always thought that my shoulders looked weird in videos, and it's just because they're lopsided. Second of all, if I move and you see this monstrosity on my arm, it's my brother's cat's fault, so don't blame me for that. Anyways, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my favorite obscure Harry Potter movie details. This could do with the cast, this could do with small characters that you will only notice if you pay attention super carefully. You may recognize some of these facts that I will be saying, and you may not recognize some of them. I hope that this video is informative and fun and sort of gives you an insight into some of the really fun details about the Harry Potter movie series. The first obscure movie detail that I want to mention is that Augusta Longbottom, who played Neville's grandmother, is briefly in the first and the final film. The actress changed between the different films, but if you look super closely, you can find this character in both the first and the 8th film, and I will try and include pictures of all the things I'm talking about so you know that I'm not going crazy as I'm telling you these things. They're actual legitimate facts from the films. The next thing is that when you think of house elves, you generally always think of Deathly Hallows Part 1 and maybe Order of the Phoenix and Chamber of Secrets. You generally don't think about the other films. However, there is one more film in the series that has house elves in it, and that is Goblet of Fire. I think it's really special that they managed to squeeze in that detail of the house elves into the Goblet of Fire movie, since house elves took up such a large portion of the Goblet of Fire book. The next fun obscure fact is that Emma Thompson's younger sister is in the Harry Potter films. Her name is Sophie Thompson, and in Deathly Hallows Part 1, she played Mathilda Hopkirk, who Hermione takes the Polyjuice Potion to look like. Mathilda Hopkirk's voice was used in Order of the Phoenix, but the actress changed for the 7th film, and that wonderful, amazing performance was done by Emma Thompson's sister. Isn't that really cool? And Emma Thompson isn't the only Harry Potter actress who had a sibling on the films. Emma Watson had her brother on the films as well. In Order of the Phoenix, Emma Watson's brother, Alexander Watson, is in the film. He plays a super minor character that doesn't have a name. He's sort of an extra, but he is in Order of the Phoenix. To make Crookshanks look so different from a normal cat, they took jelly and put it under the cat's eyes, as well as brushing the cat out, keeping the hair that would come out when it was brushed, and then paper clipping it back into the fluff of the hair so that the cat looked less like a pristine house cat and more like a mangled bigger cat, which makes sense because Crookshanks is not a normal cat. Crookshanks is half Kneasel, which I feel like not enough people know that Crookshanks is half Kneasel. Throughout the whole Harry Potter series, there's a lot of characters that are in the later movies that play a bigger part, but they actually had different actresses and actors cast as those characters in the previous films. For example, Lavender Brown is a big one, and Pansy Parkinson. There were multiple different actresses cast to play those characters before the final ones that everyone thinks of when they think of these characters. The reason why Jamie Willett, who played Vincent Crabbe, was not in the later movies is because he was arrested and put in jail. He was arrested because of violent disorder during riots in London. This was like a fact that I was like really hyper aware of when I was watching Deathly Hallows Part 2, and I was like, I wish I would have been able to see Crabbe one more time, but I was also like, he needs to be in jail. So it was a bit of a mixed bag, you know? And that's why Blaise Zabini was sort of like shoved into that scene in the Room of Requirement a little more. Speaking of Blaise Zabini, the actor of Blaise Zabini was actually on Harry Potter before he was Blaise Zabini. The actor who plays Blaise Zabini was actually the double and the stand-in for Dean Thomas. The reason why I say the actor who played Blaise Zabini instead of saying his name is because I don't know how to say his name, and I always feel really bad saying that. There's a lot of Harry Potter names who I grew up saying their names one way, and then I heard a cast member or someone who worked on the set pronounce their name differently, and I realized that for like 20 years of my life, I've been pronouncing some of these actors' names wrong. So just keep that in mind. Like, don't say Ralph Fiennes, don't say Ralph Fiennes. Like, that's not his name for Voldemort, because that's what I was doing for like most of my life, and then I realized I was saying it wrong, and I've just reverted to saying the actor of said character instead of butchering their name so bad, which I don't know if I should butcher their name or if I should just say the actor of. I don't know which is more polite in this situation with any of these actors. In the films, as each Horcrux is destroyed, the color of Voldemort's robes fade, and that is representative of the fact that he's like fading away as his Horcruxes are being destroyed, because these Horcruxes are an extension of his life. You have to kill them all to kill him, so it's just another visual way to show that he is passing away. And this was a fact that I didn't really pay that much attention to until I went to the studio tour. I find that the studio tour is really fun to be at. There are so many little Easter eggs and little tidbits that you learn from the studio tour that makes the studio tour worth the trip. It is so amazing at the studio tour. And my final little obscure detail is an obscure detail that I get a lot of hate for saying. And first of all, let me tell you my credentials for saying this. In LeakyCon 2016, they had one of the costume designers there, and this costume designer worked on Goblet of Fire, which, what is the #1 costume that comes to mind in Goblet of Fire? Hermione's Yule Ball outfit. Everyone always gets so mad at the movies for changing the color of her Yule Ball outfit. They make edits so it's the proper color. They get upset. Trust me, I wish that it would have been the same colors in the books as well. However, when the costume director was asked head on why did Hermione's dress color change, his response to it almost made it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal. He was saying, oh, it was probably something like we ran out of the color of that material for the dress. So it seemed like it wasn't so much an intentional choice to make her dress pink, but more it was something that just happened, and I feel like they didn't think that it was such a big of a deal. And I am saying this as a fact because I heard the costume director directly make a comment about this. He spoke on it really quickly and didn't make a very big deal out of it. Also, speaking of that costume director, because he also touched on the fact about why Ravenclaw's colors would change, because in the books Ravenclaw was blue and bronze, however it was changed to blue and silver in the movies. It was sort of like an aesthetic thing this costume designer was saying, which is the fact that you have two yellows in the yellow shade already in Hufflepuff and Gryffindor. You have their main colors, which is Gryffindor is red, Hufflepuff is yellow, and then Slytherin is green, Ravenclaw is blue. So you sort of have two like yellowish, brownish colors already there for Gryffindor and Hufflepuff. So to match it aesthetically, they wanted to match Ravenclaw and Slytherin together by giving them silver as their secondary color. That is the reasoning for why Ravenclaw's colors were changed. And this was all for today's video. I know the last two were sort of controversial because I'm stating stuff that I heard directly from the costume designer, and I've gotten a lot of hate online for stating these things out loud. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed all these obscure details and facts about the Harry Potter films. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to me if you haven't already. There's of course tons and tons and tons of other Harry Potter obscure details, and I may make a second video to this in the future. I upload videos twice a week, so my next video will be uploaded next Tuesday. I hope all of you stick around to watch that one, and until next time, goodbye!